Hey guys, welcome back to the Muzi Minute. This is episode number 2. The pilot is in the books, and we're moving on to a new subject this week. I'm really excited to introduce our guest, Anthony Fernandez. He's our service manager here at the dealership, and he's here to discuss the new changes in the Massachusetts state inspections. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Pretty good. So to kind of get things started, could you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in the auto industry, and how long you've been here at the dealership?
Yep. I went to work at an automotive machine shop and parts store right out of high school. From there, I got into business with my brother-in-law. We had run a local garage in Newton, had a towing service. Left there, ended up at a Cadillac local dealer in Newton. Got out of the business for a little while. Went back to work at another GM dealer, and from there I ended up here. I've been here at Muzi 6 years. 6 years June.
Nice. So some pretty big changes coming down the pike pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So what is going to change for the Mass State inspection process?
Well, starting in October, what they're doing is the state has actually changed their contract with the company that they previously used. What's going to change primarily is that the state inspectors will have to, when they're doing the sticker inspection, in the bay now that there'll be cameras, the technician or the state inspector will also have a handheld camera to go around the vehicle if he chooses to. Basically what they're looking for is to make sure that there's no real body damage on it or rust, broken lights, worn tires. Basically what the state's doing is kind of like getting stricter or tighten up the guidelines basically to ensure that there are safer vehicles on the road. And that'll take place starting October 1st.
October 1st, okay. And so that video footage that they take in the bays, is that going to be stored with the state?
It will. Basically, let's say, for instance, God forbid there was an accident or something in a vehicle, front end, something happened with the front end, tire fell off or something like that. They'd have the ability to go back and look at that feed, whether it was a month, 2 months, 3 months, they can go back and look to make sure that the inspection was done properly, that there was nothing missed. Unfortunately, what happens now is quite a few stations have their inspector's license, and unfortunately they don't all play by the rules like we do. So they might look the other way if you have a bald tire or a airbag light is on, or if it's got a broken light. This is going to change that so that all the stations that are now doing state inspections are all going to have to fall under the same guidelines.
Okay. So there's a number of cameras that are installed. Is that something that the state paid for to put in?
No, the dealership had to, and not just us, but any station that chose to continue with the state inspections, they had to pay for that new equipment. There'll be 3 fixed cameras in the bay, and the inspector will also have a handheld camera if he chooses to use it. Also, that the stickers will now be what they call time stamped, so that every sticker, non-commercial, will take 30 minutes, and commercial vehicles will be up to an hour. And again, falling back on other states that may not have played by the rules. It's supposed to take X amount of time to get that sticker inspection done properly, and not always were they playing by the rules.
Okay. So with that cost, do you see other smaller inspection operations falling off?
I would say probably for the stations that maybe on a dealership or a larger facility. I don't want to say what the cost was, but it wasn't cheap. I could see them choosing not to do so. So what that'll do is that'll shrink the amount of stations that are doing it, and I think in the long run it's going to put safer vehicles on the road.
Will any of that cost be put onto the consumer? Will the inspection prices change?
As of right now, we're told that there will be no increase. Again, because of the cost of the equipment, the training that the inspectors have to go through. I can't say for sure that's not going to change, but I would say that if there is a change, it's not going to be like a $100 increase. It'll probably be somewhere around 10 to 15% increase. But again, what they're telling us now is that as of right now, there'll be no change in the price.
Okay. How do you see any of these changes impacting individual drivers? And do you have any recommendations for them when they come into the dealership?
Yeah, what I'd say is that, again, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to put safer vehicles on the road. And what I would recommend to any consumer, any car owner, whether you're having your vehicle serviced here at Muzi, at Chevrolet or Ford, if not, if you take it to a reputable shop. Most cars end up, at a repair facility 3 to 4 times a year, whether it's just for basic maintenance or whatever have you, depending on the age of the vehicle. But a reputable shop would, let a consumer know down the road you might need tires, or you might need brakes, or you have a broken tail light or something like that. Plus, consumers and drivers, they just need to be aware of the condition of their vehicle.
I'd heard a little bit about the older Mass State plates that might not have as much reflection left, or the older green plates
Correct.
that aren't as legible. Is that something that consumers might have to change?
Yeah, what the state's looking to do is they're trying to get the older green plates off the road, because with the green plates, I believe you only need the one plate, but with the newer red plates, they give you two plates. That's one thing that the state is looking for, especially for, let's say, your state troopers that are driving at night. If they're behind a vehicle, a lot of times what happens is with the green plates, the reflective covering, sometimes you can't read it as well. And also for the, where they took out the tolls, it's tough for those cameras to read faded plates at times, and that becomes a problem too. So I think it's twofold, but the end game is they're looking to get away from the green plates and go with just the red plates, because it does have two plates.
Okay. All right, well, I think that's some really good information about the changes that are coming down the pike really soon. If you have any additional questions, I will put Anthony's email in the post below, and feel free to reach out to him with any questions at all. Thank you guys so much for picking us up this week. Look forward to seeing you next week.